Friday the 9th, I think this was the best price action we've had in a couple months. No, I did not capitalize off it. I did fade some setups, but there was two really good setups that I want to go over. So coming into our bias, we were overall bullish. We had previous day high that we left, and then ES was working towards all-time highs again. So I was very bullish, but I wanted to see price manipulate lower because there was a lot of LR built up, and we had draws to the downside, and then give us a discount range that we could target longs. So that's exactly what happened. There was this 5 minute pre-market. I know, like, dog, you took it or whatever, but I faded. I don't take any trades pre-market. But yeah, so going into today, so coming into market open, we dumped right away, which I thought that was going to happen. We manipulate lower, and then we also put in an SMT with ES once we swept all this LR, and this was a 15-minute internal low, along with two 15-minute fair value gaps. So if price wanted to go higher, I could totally see that, knowing that we hit a significant draw on liquidity, and we might want to rebalance the range that we made right here. So I was looking for a mech, and once this 1 minute inverted, which was the highest time frame inversion in this leg, or sorry, the 2 minute, once the 2 minute inverted, which was right here. I did not take this, but I should have, just because ES was already tapped in this 5 minute. But we were reacting so well off this drawn liquidity, and there was an SMT before, but I don't know, I was just scared from yesterday. And when you're trading off emotions, nothing ever goes right. So I did trade off emotions, and then the setup, I watched the setup play right in front of my eyes, and I would take the setup 99 out of 100 times because this is the model I trade. So when that hit full TP for a 70-point move, I was very emotional, and I told myself that I wouldn't force anything. Like, I just watched the setup play in front of my eyes. Like, I'm already like on full tilt, and I thought this was going to be the one trade of the day. So then once we chop around, I think yeah, so we invert this 5 minute. But this was invalid because it was 10 minutes before news, and we're just overall bullish on the day. I mean, as you see, we're respecting two 15-minute fair value gaps. So I don't want to short when we're respecting those fair value gaps, even though we did barely sweep this internal low and we still had Asia lows, but ended up fading it and it did not play out. So once the news comes out, it puts in a data wick right here and relatively equal highs. So at the time, I knew there was data highs still being left, and then I only figured out that there was relatively equal highs like 40 seconds before this trade actually ended up happening. But as you see, we sweep the Asia low, which was a draw on liquidity that I thought was going to get swept, maybe off data. But anyway, we get this 1 minute inversion, and I love this trade. I told myself I wanted to take this very bad just because the stops are at like a 41 points, and then your TP's 157 points. Like, this is like a perfect kind of like bottom tick type of move, and I faded it and I paid the price. But I did mark it out. I marked out the 1 minute, and then I was waiting for the 2 minute to inverse because that was the highest time frame inversion, and it inversed right here. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is gonna be a risk-free trade. But I didn't want to take a trade knowing that I could have been in drawdown. And again, emotions been taking over my trading, and I missed out on a lot of money. Like, there's nothing I could have done if I didn't watch that first trade play out and maybe have taken that, then I wouldn't have been too worried about this trade. But yeah, I watched this play right in front of my eyes, and this was like just a great flush, just straight to TP. But yeah, and then the overall draw was previous day high, which is right up here. But I think we just keep rallying, and then we did open up a 15-minute right up here. So we open up a 15-minute. Now you're looking for continuations, but I thought that we were too deep into this retracement that I just didn't want to take a continuation with all of these. I'd be taking a long into all of these fair value gaps, which is kind of unprobable in my scenario, that we would just rally through all this. Again, emotions, whatever. I was already done for the day watching two A plus setups that I should have taken any day of the week. And then I think this 1 minute inversion ends up playing out. Yeah, I think we might have put an SMT with yes, but it rallies until this draw right here. But yeah, so that was overall the two trades I would have loved to take in, but I didn't. I faded. So, yep.